Maddox, where are we?
At the Reptilium.
What's behind you?
A snake.
Is that an anaconda?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I have over here Brian Barczyk. Said it right?
You got it.
Right,
You named it.
Tough spelling, but
Yeah.
easy pronunciation.
Easy Barczyk. Yep,
Yes.
exactly.
And he is a reptile expert, one of the most respected, longest in the game for handling reptiles. And a lot of you actually follow his channel. Please make sure you check it out in the description. I'll link that. And I wanted to kind of answer some questions that are probably unique to facial hair.
Yep.
And so, Brian, one question would be, and I've heard some myths and maybe misconceptions.
Yep.
We in the beard community and industry, we love different fragrances.
Sure.
Colognes and natural and sweet scents. Is there any reptile is there a fragrance we should avoid or look at staying away from?
So it's a great question, and it's a little bit harder to tell with a reptile than a mammal, right? Because some mammals actually do react differently to different fragrances. I'm sure you've known that,
Yeah.
especially when you get into like exotic cats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've talked about that they love Calvin Klein for some reason.
Yes.
Like a lot of exotic cat keepers will spray Calvin Klein on boxes and then throw them in, and they just have a field day with them. With reptiles, it's a little bit different. Now, you got to remember that they actually, like this guy here, who's a ball python, actually a girl, she has that tongue, that forked tongue, right? Now, that tongue is coming out and tasting all the particles in the air, pulling it back in, Jacobson's organ, and smelling with it. So,
Okay.
so when you have heavy fragrances, it's probably throwing them off a little bit. Do I think it's bad? Not necessarily. I've never seen a reptile react bad to a fragrance.
Okay.
And we've had a lot of weird smells in this
Yeah.
place, I can tell you that much. But I've never seen anyone react on it. With that being said, try not to be overpowering,
Okay.
because again, sense of smell is one of the huge senses that reptiles use in order to eat and to know what to do. So, just keep that in mind. Try to keep the sense as mild as possible, but there isn't a specific one unless you rub cedar on your... Do you have cedar?
Cedar's very popular.
Okay, don't do cedar. Cedar oil is actually bad for reptiles' mucous membranes.
Wow.
So stay away from cedar. I didn't realize that was a thing, but
Yeah,
definitely
so
stay away from that.
Cedar, it's very interesting because in beard products, you have to have a level of potency that's safe. You can
Yeah.
only use so much. Cedar, especially Texas cedar wood, is the most potent. You can use
Wow.
100% Texas cedar wood on your face.
Oh my God, well, that's really weird. Well, I would suggest if you're working with reptiles not to use 100%
Okay.
Texas cedar wood on your face.
Perfect. All right, we are back with Brian here. And Brian, who do we have?
We actually have a frilled dragon. This one's actually named Chicken Nugget.
Okay,
Yeah.
I remember Chicken Nugget.
Yeah.
So we talked about the fragrances. I thought cedar was very interesting and hopefully helpful for a lot of you. When I've been here, there have been several species that Maddox, my son's, been able to hold in other people, and it's placed on shoulders
Yeah.
and held around the face. And instantly my thought was, with a big beard or facial hair, is there anything to consider with any kind of reptiles?
So first off, interesting enough, when it comes to snakes seems to love beards. I mean, usually they like to crawl through them. I think they feel safe, right? It's almost like,
Interesting.
like a mossy type of hiding spot. So everybody that's ever come in with a beard before, you always see the snakes kind of going right into the beard. With that being said, there are some animals like Chicken Nugget here, which is a frilled dragon, you can see will puff up these frills just like this. If you've seen the movie Jurassic Park, you've seen
Yeah.
the Dilophosaurus, right? So if some animals, in particular more visual animals, like let's say some lizards, monitor lizards and stuff like that, they could potentially see a big beard as a threat, right? Because your head now looks twice as big to them, right? I mean, instead of having this head, you have this head to them, much like this guy has these big frills, right? So I would say that although I know a lot of bearded reptile keepers, and I've never heard a lizard attack a bearded guy, I haven't ever heard anything like that. The fact is they probably do feel a little intimidated,
Okay.
probably by a big beard. That being said, snakes love it. So I don't think you have to worry about it. If you're going to think about keeping reptiles, or if you're a reptile keeper, you're coming to a place like this, you don't have to shave to come. You'll be completely fine. Like I said, lots of bearded reptile keepers, but I'm sure some animals probably take a little bit of time getting used to that beard.
Right, and so I put out there that I was coming here, and that was the number one question. And from watching your podcast, I did know there was a lot of guys that had beards, so I assumed it was okay.
Yeah.
And kind of final one, have you ever heard any horror stories? Anything grabbing the beard or?
Not really. I think the only thing that I've ever heard is like, like spiders, if you have a tarantula and like it kind of gets lost in a big beard like yours.
Yeah.
So it's not like a horror story or something like that. And if you don't keep your beard really well groomed and it's kind of straggly, we've had it here at the Reptile where a snake has been like caught in the beard where we've had to, just like a ponytail, the same exact thing, We make sure that we try not to get it caught in ponytails either, but that's the only kind of horror stories, but nothing too major, nothing to really be concerned about.
Okay, all right. So, reptile lovers, beardsmen, you guys are totally fine. Keep the beard and just consider the cedar wood and all other fragrances are game. For the record, I went unscented today just to be safe because I didn't know the answer yet. So, Brian, thank you so much for this experience. This is fantastic. We're about to do the podcast. I cannot wait. This video will be up after the podcast, but I'll link it back so you guys can go back and watch again. Subscribe to the Checking In podcast and also the Reptile channel.
I appreciate you guys and keep those beards going good.
Yeah,
because I know I need help.
We are going to help. We're going to help here. So, as always, stay bearded and stay positive.